Hello from Germany and welcome to my channel World War II Diaries. Bad news reached me a few days ago. YouTube cancelled the monetization for this channel. That's good for you, no commercial breaks. Bad for me, no money at all. So I don't want to beg for money, but if you donate $1 or €1 every month, we can keep up the work and we can finish Rudolph's diaries up to 85 episodes. And the next we want to do is World War II diary from a tanker who was in Normandy and fought until 1945. So we want to see that. Support us, please. Support us. And if half of you donate €1 or $1, we can keep up the work. You will see a donation link in the description. And thank you for the support. So now we start with a new episode.
Dear Mrs. Pretz, unfortunately, I have the sad news for you that your husband died a hero's death on August 22nd, 1943. You have certainly already received this painful news, and I apologize for the fact that it has taken so long until you have received my letter. My name is Non-Commissioned Officer Rudolph Peterson, and I belong to a tank regiment on the Eastern Front. I was with your spouse when he gave his life for the fatherland. Regrettably, I did not know your husband personally, but I had the privilege to be by his side during his last journey to our dear Lord. I'm not sure whether you were informed how your husband lost his life, but I would like to explain it from my experience. On this fateful day, we were quartered in a small city near the front. I was on my way to a different sector when there was an aerial attack by Russian planes. 2 armored personnel carriers were shot at, and your husband was in the second vehicle. The APC, which was disabled by a bomb hit, took the lives of 7 additional soldiers. Your husband was then severely wounded and discovered by me away from the road. I attempted with my modest means to bandage the severe injuries and to stop the loss of blood, but it was no longer possible for me to save him. In my arms he spoke the final words, which I hereby want to convey to you. His final words concerned you and your children, and that you should not forget him. With these words he passed away. I can assure you that he suffered no pain, and faced his Creator free from sin. A brave, highly decorated soldier, a husband and father, gave his life for a higher cause. I was made aware that he was a good leader, who always had an open ear for his men. He led the troops tough but fair, and did not demand anything of his soldiers that he wouldn't do himself. Dear Mrs. Pretz, my thoughts are with you and your children. May these lines help you in these difficult times to overcome the grief. I'm sure that your husband gave his life with the certainty to be saving our fatherland from the Red Flood. I would like to hereby express my condolences, and I am happy and proud that I, as a comrade, was able to be by your husband's side in his final hour. With the best wishes for the future in these painful times, I remain with sincere condolences, your Rudolph Peterson. I can't get the letter out of my head. I wrote it over 5 or 6 times until I found the right lines. It still hurts me when I think of what this poor wife has to endure at home when she hears that her husband has fallen. She certainly has already received the news, but despite that, it does not make the matter better. I lean my head against the side of the turret and ponder. The tank is rumbling toward the staging area. Dust is swirling through the air, the headphones are squeaking through the onboard radio. I try to focus on what's to come. Over and over my thoughts wander off. I think of Gudrun and of my family. If I fall, who would then write a letter to my wife? All those whom I'd known well, or who got to know me well, are no longer here, are dead, wounded, or in the homeland. Certainly, there'd be a letter by the platoon leader or the company commander, but rather not by a true comrade by my side. Be it as it may, I have to focus. My crew expects me to lead the tank in such a way which is best for all of us. I have to make decisions, probably also tough decisions, which the gunner or the driver may not like. It all doesn't matter. I have to analyze the situation and make the best of it. As far as I understood, we are deployed in the left sector further back to secure the advance. We have close to an hour's approach to the staging area and will be instructed there. I once again go through everything in my mind. Did I think of everything, or did I forget something? No, it shall all fit in place. We have to stop twice before we finally arrive there. We are redirected and are approaching a small patch of woods that we are supposed to traverse. Behind that is already the thin line of riflemen of our own front line. Underway, we encounter wounded soldiers who are brought to the rear. A lot has apparently already happened there. We drive up to an improvised combat post. There's a lieutenant of the Grenadiers, slightly injured, dirty and battle-worn, as if he hadn't come out of the hole for days. We stop, and I shout down from the turret how the situation is. He comes closer to overcome the engine noise and shouts at me that Ivan was positioned a distance of 3,000 meters away, probably tanks and anti-tank guns, and that here they'd also had considerable losses by anti-tank rifle shooters. That afflicted them immensely. At great distance, the Grenadiers had been shot from those positions. To shoot our people simply out of the woods. I'm not liking that at all. Anti-tank riflemen can turn into a real plague for tanks if they flank you and then shoot through the thin side armor. The fields in front of us are growing tall. The crooks might be lying in them. That means we either have to advance with the Grenadiers or be very cautious. Here it's also playing the same old game. To the right of us are the tank spearhead, and we are in the second tier covering the flank. Half an hour later, it's a go. We are hearing tank guns and anti-tank guns. Artillery and machine guns also join in. Here, the front is to be penetrated in order to prevent the further encirclement of our own troops. The Russian is putting pressure on Kharkiv. We roll off, and I try not to stick my head out of the turret. But due to the vegetation, I have no choice in order to get an overview. Already, the first salvo of mortar fire is swooping in. The Grenadiers who are advancing with us are leaping into cover. Individual pieces of shrapnel are buzzing by the hedge. They are not a threat. The shelling is sporadic and has no real effect. They obviously don't have any forward observers. Good for us. This way it's going further ahead. We make it to the next line of trees without any shelling. Slowly we are pushing through the not too dense woods, but know from our map that there's an open area coming up ahead again. The Grenadiers are trying to keep pace. Therefore, I instruct the driver to go slower. We also have 2 Panzer IIIs and a Panzer IV short along with us. Together with us, they are supposed to secure the area. Now, light artillery fire is laid onto the assault tip of the spearhead, and I hear over the radio that the momentum of the attack is slowly diminishing. The opponent is dug in. From hidden anti-tank gun emplacements, our lead tanks are being eliminated. Since we are already supposed to cover the flank, but really have little to do here, we receive the order to swing to the right and to roll up the anti-tank gun front from this side. I give the order and we all roll into a hollow trail which will provide us further cover. An APC drives another 100 meters ahead and secures to the east. An anti-tank gun unit joins in and is brought into firing position. For now, everything here is in order. We continue rolling on through the hollow trail. The vegetation is indeed really thick, so I am leaning far out of the turret in order to recognize anything. My gunner yells at me. I should pull down my damn noggin. Funny, I actually know that one and should know better. I shout back that otherwise, damn it again, I couldn't see a thing. The reply is simply that without a head, damn it again, I would no longer see anything at all. Yes, he's right. I slide back down and try to just stick my head out over the edge once in a while. The battle noises become louder. I can see burning tanks halfway to the right of us. Cannon shots from the Russian anti-tank guns and over again artillery salvos which zoom over us. Thunder and lightning. Here's really something going on. Already the dance begins. The tank cannons of the two Panther IIIs have acquired targets and are firing. The Russians are caught by surprise. Now the first emplacements burst apart in a flash of fire. We follow in pursuit. Along the hollow trail were apparently also a few platoons of infantry who are now shot to shreds by the stubby Panzer IV. I continue to roll along the upper side while we dangerously offer a lot of area to Ivan. He apparently has no more anti-tank guns in the second line, but now I can see T-34 tank turrets, while camouflaged, so not very well. The gunner received the target. I still shout he ought to aim lower. Already the 75mm barks, and only seconds later I see through the bulletproof glass the T-34 in flames. But now they've recognized us and opened fire. 3, 4, no, 5 Russian tanks are emerging out of the undergrowth. We have stopped and are standing at an angle to those guys. Tank hard left, I shout over the radio. The turret turns slightly more and already the red glowing projectile is shooting at the enemy tank turret, with deadly effect. Hit. The turret is torn off and the tank is eliminated. Thunder and lightning. He knows what he's doing, that boy. Now the one on the far right. Before we can even take aim at it, the tank is already hit. Our tank spearhead has recognized us and is now able to advance further. The other 2 Russian tanks turn away and disappear in the smoke of the burning tanks of their comrades. We stop, just when it's impacting near us. "Katyuskas," yells the radio operator. I just managed to get the hatch shut. All around us an inferno breaks loose. We are probably shaking about. The Russians do know that their own units are still positioned here. Nothing remains untouched here. After a few minutes, the nightmare's over. The ears are ringing. I have any damage reported to me. Everything's all right. We're able to move on. I'd rather still keep the hatch closed. No more targets, reports the gunner. Therefore, I have us pull ahead up to a berm. Our armored spearhead rolls further. We have secured our area. The Panzer IV Short is reporting. Probably cleaned up and chased off or destroyed half a battalion of riflemen. Both of the Panther IIIs report having 4 anti-tank guns destroyed and 2 captured. Well, good. No losses on our side. We open the hatches and take a look at the tank. Quite a few scratches the good Heidi has received. But it's a brave girl with thick skin. We received the order to wait and pull the combat vehicles into a line of security. Infantry is to follow up and provide security. The driver signs off to take a leak and steps a few meters away. I have a smoke together with the gunner, and suddenly hear a scream. Quickly, I take off and run into the direction the driver was going to relieve himself. Behind a bush, I see 2 Russians. One is fighting with the driver, the other appears to be wounded. I pull my pistol and try to take aim at the Russian, who's sitting on top of the driver. That doesn't work. Therefore, a quick kick to the side, and he flies into the dirt. Now, the injured Russian struggles to his feet and wants to attack me with a knife. I don't mess around and shoot. The projectile enters right into the right eye and tears away a large part of the back of the head. Our driver crawls backwards out of the danger zone with a bloody face. I yell at the other Russian, Ruki Vrech, but he doesn't raise his hands. He reaches into a bag which he's carrying around his neck and pulls out a Russian grenade. I aim at him, but he's out for a fight. Before he couldn't pull the ring off the grenade, I fire 2 shots into his chest. He collapses. The driver is still completely perplexed. I take a look at the mess. Those were anti-tank riflemen. We gather the weapons and walk back to the tank. The next time you'll peep by the tank, buddy, I still hear myself say. I'm already talking like an old veteran. The radio operator conjures up some firewater out of the tank chest, and first of all, there's a swig on top of the shock. Comrades rescued, enemy destroyed. Who's going to write their families a letter?